They spend their days in happiness and go down to Sheol, go down to death, b'shalom, in peace. That's the reality of the world according to Job. And Job can't quite understand the system that God has created. God's answer to Job is eventually, the world is too complicated for you, Job, to understand. Right? That's what God says. You can't possibly understand the way of the world. But I actually think Ben Azai's response to Job would be much better. Ben Azai, again, who says, Schar mitzvah, mitzvah. The reward of a mitzvah, the reward of a good deed, the reward of fulfilling the commandments is doing the deed itself. And again, Ben Azai goes on to say the opposite is true as well. The reward for a sin is the sin itself. That is the way that the world works. We can't control what happens to us, or our fate, our fortune that befalls us, yet we do mitzvot, we follow commandments and do good deeds because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Interesting note, by the way, there's only two mitzvot in the entire Torah that have a very specific blessing attached to them. And it's the same blessing. The blessing that's attached to these two mitzvot are, your days shall be prolonged on the earth. Anyone know what those two mitzvot are? You do, you just don't know you do. Two mitzvot are, one, honor your father and your mother so that your days can be lengthened here on earth. And the other commandment that has that same blessing attached to it is, shoo away the mother bird before taking the eggs of that bird or the young. We know, though, observing those mitzvot won't exactly prolong your life. In fact, Rabbi Elisha ben Abuya, one of the rabbis of the Talmud, learned this. The story goes about Rabbi Elisha ben Abuya, who they eventually call Acher, the other, or the apostate, because of what happened. So Elisha ben Abuya witnesses a father tell his child to go up, grab some eggs, but before you do so, shoo away the mother bird. The child goes up the tree, listens to his father, honors his father, shoos away the bird, and falls off the tree and dies. Which is exactly what shouldn't have happened, right? He does two mitzvahs, both of which have the reward of prolonging your life, and what happens? He dies doing both mitzvahs. He dies fulfilling both commandments. What happens to Elisha ben Abuya? He says, the world can't be fair. I've learned all my life that do good, get good, and here I just saw exactly the opposite. Elisha ben Abuya becomes an apostate and essentially leaves Judaism because he can't actually comprehend what happened. Because the reward for doing good is the act itself. We do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Shimon the Righteous, another rabbi of Pirkei Avot, chapters of the Fathers, has another piece of wisdom. He says, do not be like servants who serve the master in expectation of receiving a reward. Be like the servants who serve their master without the expectation of receiving a reward. That is, when you serve God, don't do it because you want God to reward you. Serve God because there's joy in the act of serving God. Again, you see how the rabbis transform the whole theology of the Torah here, and it becomes much more consistent with what a modern Jew would believe. There's no reward and no punishment for doing a mitzvah or not doing a mitzvah. A mitzvah leads you to becoming a more righteous and a better person, and that is the reward, and it's a pretty darn good reward if you ask me. It sounds really simplistic, right? Just do the right thing. That's not exactly what I'm saying. Again, there's great joy in observing our tradition and doing these mitzvot. There's great joy in helping those in need. There's great joy in giving tzedakah. There's great joy in lighting Shabbos candles and saying Kiddush and celebrating Shabbat as a whole. We do it for the sake of joy. I hope you're not doing these things because you want something in return. The reward is always going to be the mitzvah itself. This week, this Shabbat, here is your challenge. Very simple. Go out, do a mitzvah, and relish in your reward. Shabbat shalom, everybody. We'll pick up with Aleinu, page 310 in your prayer books. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. על כן נקבל עלינו לרופאים. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You can be seated. Our thoughts now turn to those who are no longer with us, but whose lives still shine brightly as memories in our lives. As we read the names of members of our community for whom we are in a period of mourning, we'll invite you to rise when you hear the name of a loved one. If there's a name of someone for whom you're mourning, and we don't read that name, we'll invite you to rise afterwards and share that name with the community, or type that name into the chat. In the period of Shloshim, we remember Myrna Klein and Cantor Israel Goldstein. And we're in the year of mourning for Marilyn Belzer, Helene Gabor, Ernie Frankel, Judy Boris, Rhoda Levy, Allison Hart-Stuke, Stephen Astor, Albert Cohen, Rosalind Cohen, Sheldon Solo, Gina Faronic, Bo Lawler, Diane Cohen, Annette Melva Levy, Irving Berman, Jonathan Mark Katz, Moshe David Meisler, Elaine Grossman, Susan Patrikoff, George Elkowitz, Alexander Gorin, Maxine Greenfield, David Rosenblatt, Harry Lauhan, Maria Purpura, Rita Katz, Alyssa Epstein, John Harrison, Perry Cohen, Irving Markowitz, Estella Gass, Sharon Epstein, Jared Geldner, Seymour Winnick, Sari Faith Brownstein, Boris Rubenstein, Reuben Cohen, Marilyn Lukashow, and Judy Goldstein. It's the yard sites this week of Eileen Roman, Helen Menchel, Nina Moore, the Pills Oaks families, Ruth Goldtell, Francis Garfield, Bess Greenberg, Jack Silber, Lois Cohen, Libby Butler Kane, Ruby Butler Kane, Hyman Matza, Max Spinner, Billy Ostroff, Max English, and Doris Marcus Mendelson. Is there anyone else, any other names that you'd like to share? Let me look at the chat. And to these names, we add Michael Metch, and David Sherman. And it's been a tradition here that we've added names of American soldiers who have perished overseas in war, so we do add the 13 soldiers who died recently in the Kabul airport. Kaddish is on page 316. We'll invite you to rise if you are able. Let me just get the words back up on the screen for those joining us virtually. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, Balma divrach hiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, Bagalau v'zman kariv v'emru, Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, Damiran be'alma ve'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. Couple of brief announcements before we conclude. Tonight, 8 p.m., Slichot. If you want to join us virtually, we will be on Zoom. If you want to join us in person, we will also be in person. This is our beginning of the high holiday season tonight, as we are our first Saturday before Rosh Hashanah. So get ready. I see some sighs there. Also, 12 o'clock today, Torah study out on the patio. Hope to see you in person or virtually. I think that might be it for now. We're going to have some new classes coming up in the fall after the holidays. Keep on the lookout for things that are going on. Our religious school is starting September 19th. We're going to conclude this morning with a Elul favorite. And if you want to learn more about the whole psalm that we're about to sing, Psalm 27, it's in fact the tradition to sing Psalm 27 in the month of Elul. If you want to learn more about it, come to Torah study today. It'll be a big part of what we are learning about. I don't know if it's in the prayer book. It's probably in the Psalms anthology in the back. So let me take a quick look. Psalms anthology. Who can find Psalm 37 or Psalm 27 for us? I found it. It's on page 627. Achat sha'alti meit Adonai ota avakesh. Achat sha'alti meit Adonai ota avakesh. Shivti beveit Adonai kol yamei chayai. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker becheichalo. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker becheichalo. Shabbat shalom, everybody. We'll unmute all of those joining us virtually so you can also say hello. We now have a screen in the sanctuary so we can also see you.
Shabbat shalom, everyone, from Al and Sheila.
Shabbat shalom.
Good Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos.
Wave to everyone.
Glad you all survived last week's storm. Have a great one.
Hello, Barry, cousin
We got
Barry.
lucky
How
last
are
week.
you?
No hurricane. We should actually
I'll call
say,
you Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
Nice
melech
day,
haolam
Paul.
gomel chasadim tovim. Blessed are you, God, who causes and deals bountifully and well with us, especially in the face of danger.
Esther, איפה את?
אני בנתניה עם אמא שלי. I'm with my mom. I'll call you, okay?
Okay, good.
She was listening to all the services and she enjoyed it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so she's been with me all the time.
Wonderful. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, honey. Everything is good. Bye.
Good. Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Juliet's on, you say hello?
No.
That's why I've been waiting to go out
Uh-huh.
That's unreal. No, not at all.
Let's go talk to our housekeeper.
Mm.
Well, back, and I'm fortunate to be on a line with Brock Pierce, who has really, when I think of cryptocurrency or blockchain or anything, I just think Brock. And he's a genius. And I don't say that, you hardly ever really say this, but anyone, I just think he's just such a visionary, and I'm very lucky, really lucky to have him. And more and more people are wanting to know about it. And I know most of my friends go on and even tried. Which is how talking about it. So Bob, Bitcoin, and then just get started. And what else might I do a little more about?
So that's exactly the right way to start. I never shared or advised anyone to buy more than $100 worth of Bitcoin currencies, because I'm not here to give you financial advice. I'm trying to help you help yourselves by investing in yourselves, in your own knowing. And as you know, as you become an empowered person, empowered, pay tuition, informed, you can free person. So once you've done that, the next thing to do is, you're going to kind of do it automatically, but let me give you some more guidance. Go out and read some stories or watch some YouTube videos, or it depends on your preferred way of learning. Jump on Twitter if that's your thing. But there's so much information out there in the world, and be careful with it. Don't believe all of it, right? Just think for yourself, because the world's filled with information, and you have to decide, to be discerning what you choose. What feels.
That's so true. And yeah, one of the reasons we do this show is because it's real estate and financing, and you can listen to a million people's opinions, but I would tell people, the more that you know, and the more that you understand, and there's no guarantee really in life, but the better it is for you. And also, everyone has different goals, so it depends on how much you want to take. So I appreciate what you're saying. It's not financial, but it's understanding how to understand about cryptocurrency. And then when you start to understand it, you'll be able to make decisions for yourself that are good. It's well to give advice. And they give advice when they, first of all, sometimes they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, second of all, a lot of times they give you advice, but it's advice that would be good for them. And you need to really kind of decide on your own. So really, after you open the account, you just go to, stuff and read about it and learn about it and ask questions. And that's one of the reasons that we're supposed on the show because, and I hope one that will come back. It's not not a half an hour or 35 minutes that I think any of conferences. I think it's something that you want to learn and know. And then it's going to be good for some and not for the other. It's like the stock market. I mean, and so millions of people.
Okay, already. Be quiet.
Want one too. So it's something that I have to know that. So you're saying you open a small account, it's not about the money, it's about the process of learning